Number 24 is a harder percentage question. We saw an easy version of a percentage question before, but now they're going to try to change things up on us to make things a little bit more difficult. So if we have good percentage habits and we use a formula, we should be in good shape. So remember, the formula that I like to use because it structures my work is what I call the open formula, because it looks kind of like the word open. So when we use this, we use the original amount times the percentage equals the new amount. So in this case, the water bill was $75.74. That's the original price. They're asking for the percent, so we can put the P just as a variable. We don't know it. But we do know the new amount was $79.86. So we usually associate percentage questions with multiplication, but here we're going to divide both sides by 75.74. There is no reason not to use a calculator here. So 79.86 divided by 75.74 is 1.054. Now that's weird. First of all, we remember that percentages in this formula are written as decimals. So we need to move that decimal 2 places to the right to understand this as a percentage. So if we did, we'd have 105.4%, but that's still kind of weird. 105%, that's strange. Well, hopefully you still see that 5.4 is kind of an answer and you would be able to pick this. But the point I want to make is, why is this the case? Well, when we learn percentages in school, we think in terms of percent change, and it kind of confuses us when we get to stuff like the SAT. So if something is increasing by 5.4%, what's really happening is that we're paying 105.4% of the original price. We're paying 100% of what we paid before, but we're also paying an additional 5.4, and it's better to represent that as it relates to 100, because if we had a decrease, it gets even more confusing. And thinking of it in terms of a change from 100 is really helpful. So to make things a little clearer in the formula, there's another way that you can write the open formula to kind of adjust for increases and decreases in percentages. It's basically the same thing, but instead of just P, we do 1 plus or minus P. And so the plus or minus is really determined by what the story is telling us. Are we increasing or are we decreasing? Well, in this case, we still have 75.74 as the original. We're increasing the price of the water bill, so that's a plus, and 79.86 is still the new amount. We do our division, and we're going to get the same answer. 1 plus P is equal to 1.054. And now you can see what happens when we subtract the 1 from both sides. We get 0.054 or 5.4%. So now we actually get the percentage as the answer. Again, percentages are very common in math. You've learned them in school. You've probably learned them your own way. And that's okay if you've got your own formula that you're using. You don't need to use this open formula if you've got a system in place. But if you don't have a system in place, you are really kind of asking for trouble on the SAT. They like to mess with percentages. It's just a very common trick that they use. So having some sort of formula that you put down really, really makes it easier and makes it less likely that you make the careless mistakes that they're hoping that you make. So if you've got a formula, make sure you use it. If you don't, adopt this one and make sure you've got a process that makes sense for percentage questions. You can absolutely get them right every time if you've got a process.